Hello and welcome to today's tutorial from the Microlearning Institute. In this tutorial we look at the work of Kurt Lewin and particularly his theory of force field analysis. So Lewin's force field analysis it provides a view of change problems that need to be tackled by identifying forces for the change and forces against the change. So visually, Lewin's force field analysis is often presented like this. And on this diagram we see that this is where we're at right now. So this is where the organization is right now. So this is the status quo. But over here, this is where the organization wants to be. So you can see that there are certain things forcing the change and pushing for the change, and these things could be internal within the organization, or alternatively they could be external in the competitive environment or in the broader business environment. However, just because there are things pushing for the change doesn't mean that the change is going to happen. Of course, ideally what we want is that the current position moves forward to the desired state. However, there are restraining forces here which are preventing us from changing, and this could include things like the culture of the organization, things like the funding available to make the change, things like the prioritization, things like the skills of the management to make the change. So in order to effectively implement the change, the organization has to systematically remove or reduce the restraining forces. And when the restraining forces are reduced, or maybe in some cases removed, then the organization's driving forces will be able to push the status of the organization towards the desired state. Now, it's also worth saying at this point that Lewin tells us that not in all cases do we achieve fully our desired state, but we will achieve a state that's closer to the desired state than where we originally started. So we may get to as far as here perhaps, but we may not get all the way to the desired state. So Lewin's force field analysis uses language like initially we must unfreeze the status quo. And of course we do this, as we've just seen in the previous graphic, by reducing the resisting forces, that is the forces that are resisting change. Then we can move. Now again, as we've said in the previous graphic, we may not move all the way to the desired state, but we will move closer to it. And when we get to the desired state, we need to refreeze and re-establish the new state as the new status quo of the organization. Thank you very much for watching this short tutorial from the Microlearning Institute on Lewin's force field analysis.